Carbon removals have a role to play in climate strategies, but they're not a panacea. So how should companies use them responsibly? Carbon removals take carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere and permanently store it. We need them to counterbalance unavoidable emissions, stabilize global temperatures, and reduce the concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere to return to safer temperature levels. While carbon removals can be part of the solution, they can also become part of the problem. It is necessary to recognize that there are technical, societal, and environmental limits to their deployment, and continued emissions impact the climate, ecosystems, and society in ways that carbon removals simply cannot undo. We need carbon removals, but only in addition to fast, deep, and sustained emissions reductions. Unfortunately, companies often offset their emissions with cheap, non-permanent carbon removal methods, even when deeper reductions are feasible. This is not the way. Treating removals as a substitute for emission cuts does not help the fight against climate change. It's essentially just greenwashing. So what's the responsible alternative for companies? Well, to start with, they should bring down their emissions to the absolute minimum. At the same time, they can also support the development of permanent carbon removals and finance projects on ecosystem restoration. This is easier to do if companies set separate targets in their climate strategies. And let's not forget that governments play an enabling role in this. They should provide the right regulatory framework for companies to operate. That means, for example, setting clear national targets for carbon removals which companies can contribute to, and also providing criteria for the quality and the use of carbon removals. Companies must play their part and stop diverting attention away from what is important. They need to green up their act instead of greenwashing their image.